Here are 5 ways to get back on track when you've lost your way. Let's go.
Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you.
Welcome back to an episode of the Prime Life Project podcast. I'm your host, Daniel James, and I want to get straight into today's episode. But before I do, I want to talk about the fact that people struggle all the time. Every single person walking the face of this earth goes through slumps. You can't have the highs without the lows, and that's something that not many people talk about. It's impossible to feel 100% up all of the time. It's impossible to be feeling on top of your game 100% of the time. There's not a single person walking this planet that feels amazing all of the time. We all have low moments, and we all suffer from setbacks. What I want to talk about today is when you do have that setback, what can you do about it? How can you get back on track as quickly as possible? Because it's not about how hard you get hit, it's about how quickly you can get back up again. And I've gone through some adversity in my life. Again, I've spoke about it on numerous occasions during the full-length episode of the podcast. And for me, one of the biggest things that's helped me is to actually be able to bounce back quicker, because we're all going to go through things, but I want you to be able to bounce back quickly as well. So, as Eckhart Tolle says here, the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it. And you may have heard that old quote, when you change your thoughts, you change your life. And that is so, so true. And I'm going to link a link up here if you're on YouTube to a previous episode where I really discussed the power of thoughts and how you can get yourself out of negative thought patterns, because that's what normally tends to happen. People get stuck in that negative thought pattern, and that's what pulls them down further. So here's 5 ways to get back on track. Number 1, remember your why. Remember your why. Like, whatever it is that you were working towards when you got off track, remind yourself why you started to do it in the first place. Why are we trying to save money? Why are we trying to get in shape? Why are we trying to get a better job? Why are we trying to start a new career? Who were you actually doing it for? Maybe you're doing it because you've got a newborn child on the way. Maybe you were doing it because you've set yourself this goal and you really wanted to smash it. But whatever it is, why? Why did you do it? And remind yourself why it's so important. Like, what would it actually mean for you to succeed at this thing? What would it mean for you to lose 20 pounds? What would it mean for you to get that promotion? You get an extra £1,000 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever it is. What would it mean for you to save to be able to buy a house for your family? What would it mean? Because at the start of the journey, when you were super, super motivated, this is what was driving you. Now, I've done a whole episode again talking about the difference between motivation and discipline, because we can't be motivated all the time. And maybe what's happened is you've gone off track because you've lost the motivation, and then you lack the discipline, which is okay. It's okay. That's not an insult. I was the most undisciplined person, but you need to understand there's discipline that will carry you through. But to get going, motivation is great. So let's get that motivation back again. Let's put some more wood on that fire. Let's get that fire roaring again. Remind yourself why. What kind of life will you have if you actually achieve this? What kind of life will it allow you to have? Get that fire lit back again. And once that motivation gets you going, you've got to stay disciplined. Discipline is the key. People think they lack motivation. It's not motivation that they lack, it's discipline. Because motivation will fade. That's what it's meant to do. Motivation is meant to get you going. It's the discipline that keeps you going. Remember that. Number 2, surround yourself with great people. Life's too short, so you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that are actually going to elevate you and push you towards your goal. If you are on a boat, so imagine this analogy, you're on a boat with the 5 closest people in your life, and you are trying to row in one direction, and every other person on that boat is rowing the opposite direction. Is it any wonder why you're struggling? Is it any wonder why you keep getting knocked off course? Is it any wonder why you keep going off track? Because that's what happens. And this is something I've had to learn the hard way. There's a lot of people in your life that may seem like they've got your best intentions at heart, but when push comes to shove, they don't. They're not really supporting you. You need to really look at the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Look at your environment. And again, when it comes to environment, people you surround yourself with, like, what is your actual physical environment like? Like, is your desk messy? Is your office messy? Is your bedroom messy? Is your house messy? Because even just something so small as actually clearing up your physical environment can massively help you moving forward. But in order for you to actually go to that next level, ask yourself, are the people you're surrounding yourself with on a daily basis, are they people that you aspire to be like? Are they people that are moving their lives forward, or are they just happy? Are they settling? Because if you're trying to set yourself out of your comfort zone, if you're trying to push yourself, what you're going to find is that some of these people may consciously or unconsciously be holding you back. It's like the crabs in a bucket analogy. When crabs are put in a bucket together, they can escape, but they don't. They sit there. And when one tries to escape, the others pull it back in again. And if it tries to escape a second time, they'll actually break its legs to stop it. By you actually stepping out and bettering your life, you can be making people feel uncomfortable because you're showing people what they can do, but they won't do it. So what you're doing is you're highlighting to them their limitations. So just be aware. Are you surrounding yourself with people? Is your environment actually serving you? And here's another question. If you don't have people in your life that are elevating you, who do you have to become to attract those kind of people into your life? Who do you have to become? Because people will say, yeah, but how do you find these good people in your life? You have to become a better person. You have to become that true, authentic version of yourself. And as we spoke about last week with the quotes, sometimes to get peace, you've got to go through war. And sometimes it's very, very hard to actually do that work on yourself. But it's so, so worth it. Because once you do that work on yourself and you stop that internal conflict, you start to live authentically. And when you start to live authentically, you attract people to you. I cannot tell you how amazing this is when this works. The people in my life, like Mikey, my videographer, for example, obviously he's not doing it now on these Thursday Thoughts, but on the main episodes, the videographer Mikey, he came to me because he saw what I was about on an Instagram Live and he was drawn to me. He wanted to work with me. I had no idea it even existed. Put that positivity out and I promise you, you'll get it back. Number 3, feed your mind positivity daily. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Is your attention on the positive or is it on the negative? What are you actually focusing on a daily basis? If you're focusing on the negative, you're going to be working in a negative vibration. You're then going to attract things that are on that negative vibration. Everything vibrates. A bit too deep for this Thursday Thoughts, but I'll be doing a full-length episode on this at some point, talking about what we really are as spiritual beings. But understand, the law of attraction, it's a real thing. But before the law of attraction, there's a law that precedes that, which means comes before that, and that is the law of vibration. Like, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the good? Are you focusing on the negative? Every single day, feed your mind with positive content. Consume self-development content like this podcast, like audiobooks. Are you reading? Are you consciously avoiding negativity? Are you consciously avoiding drama? Are you avoiding gossips in your life? Are you trying to create an environment around you that actually fosters personal growth? Because if you're not, I promise you can make it so much harder. There's so much negativity out there. You have to be the outlier. You have to want to constantly pursue positivity. Now, I'm not talking about toxic positivity. Like, sometimes life's going to throw you a curveball and it's going to knock you off course. I'm not expecting you to be positive every single second of every single day. But ask yourself, what's the dominant thought in your mind? What's the dominant thought? Is it positive or is it negative? When I say dominant, it's only 51%. But is it dominant? Sorry, is it positive or is it negative? Ask yourself that question. And again, are you in control of your thoughts or are your thoughts in control of you? So ask yourself, over the last 7 days, have you been in control of your thoughts? And if you don't know, ask yourself, how have you been feeling over the last 7 days? And if you've been feeling negative, your thoughts have been controlling you. Thoughts are the most powerful thing that you possess. We spoke about this numerous times on the podcast. Control your thoughts, control your life. Number 4, move your body. Science has proven that physical exercise lowers the risk and chances of depression. It reduces stress and it releases endorphins, which are the happy chemicals within your brain. Next time, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling stuck, if you've lost your way a little bit, get to the gym. Get out for a run. Go for a walk in nature. Just move your body. Release that tension somewhere. Because when you start to feel lost, you can start to close up a little bit and understand that just actually changing your posture. Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. Just by changing your posture, by changing your body language, you feel differently. Do it right now. Round your shoulders and put your head down. See how you feel. Just feel the energy. Feel a bit, ooh. Now, roll your shoulders back, put your chest nice and tall and look high into the sky. How do you feel? You feel different. By changing your physical state, it changes the energy that you give out. So, so powerful. Before I go into the 5th and final point here, what things would you add to this list? If there's anything you'd add to this list, comment it down below. Again, if you're on Spotify, click on the little question thing at the bottom and you can answer that as well. I'd love to know your thoughts. What other things would you add into this list? But again, try and move your body daily. Very, very important. Like, by actually changing the physical state of your body, getting outside, walking, getting into fresh air, getting into nature, it has a profound effect. Final point. Before I go into the final point, if you've taken any value from today's episode, don't forget to like and share it with a friend. If you're on Spotify and YouTube, don't forget to give us a subscribe. Don't forget to give us a follow. And don't forget, if you're on Apple Podcasts, to do the same as well. It means you don't miss any of the episodes. We've got the full length episodes on Tuesday, and then you've got these quick fire Thursday thoughts every single Thursday. So number 5, reflect. Pain plus reflection equals progress. If you have lost your way, if you have gone off course, if you have gone off track, that's going to be painful. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that it gets any easier. It doesn't. It sucks. When you go off track, it's awful. It's painful. It's hard. But most people stay there. They stay in the pain. They dwell. They get caught in that negative thought cycle. Here's the key. You have to reflect. Ask yourself, what caused you to get off track? What point did you get off track? Why? What happened? How? What would you do differently next time? Pain plus reflection equals the progress. You want the progress. You want to move your life forward. It's impossible to do that while you're stuck in the pain. You have to reflect. You have to learn, and you have to grow. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.